Welcome to Vsb News Online for Tuesday, January the 13th. I'm Charles Webb. Shadow Finance Minister David Burt today called on the government to show leadership if we are ever going to ensure that Bermuda gets out of its financial quagmire. Flanked by Constituency 33 Representative Jamel Simmons, Mr. Birch touched on the dire financial employment figures, and when asked why the Progressive Labour Party and the One Bermuda Alliance do not get together to solve what is a Bermudian problem, Mr. Burt had this to say.
The challenge that we have in Bermuda is we have a lack of political leadership that believes that this country can work together. And when I say that, that is squarely on the shoulders of the One Bermuda Alliance government, because it is a responsibility of the government to lead. The Progressive Labour Party can talk about ideas as much as it wants, but the fact of the matter is, if the One Bermuda Alliance is not willing to humble themselves, if they're not willing to realize that they do not have a monopoly on good ideas, if they're not willing to work with the Progressive Labour Party, then no, we will not as a country recover. It's a very key point. When we're talking about making sure that we secure investment and a long-term plan for growth, people in this country, or investors, are not going to invest in this country if they believe there is a chance that their policies, which are the basis for their investment, will be overturned in 3 years after election. That's why it's important for the parties to work together. I'll give a concrete example. In my first budget reply in 2012 or 2013, I called for a joint committee on immigration reform, one of the most critical issues of which is facing our country. I called for that again last year. What we have seen is a complete disregard for a joint approach. And we see that immigration policies come out as a surprise, they're published, some of them get retracted. That way of governing cannot work. If we want to build a long-term economic plan for the future, it requires both parties to come together and say, this is what we can support, and sell that to the international community. But that, Charles, cannot come from the Progressive Labour Party. That requires the leadership of the One Bermuda Alliance. It is the leadership that says we need to work together in order to get out of this crisis, and it is the leadership that we do not see. There are over 3,000 Bermudians that are out of work. These are Bermudians that want to be productive and want to provide for their families. But as the job crisis continues, they are losing hope. And it is important to note that the unemployment statistics measure those people who are looking for work. So these are not just people who are out of work in the economy. These are people who are actively seeking work and cannot find it. It is an important distinction to make. While threats of layoffs and unemployment hang over countless other Bermudians, every working Bermudian is also frustrated by their inability to keep up with the rising costs of basic necessities inside this country. All the figures that came out in the labor force survey are negative. There are very few, if any, silver linings inside of that. And I'll now speak to the numbers themselves. There were 511 less people working in 2014 than in 2013, a figure that, of course, pours cold water on the OBA's talk of recovery.
Commuters heading home just before 6 yesterday evening on Middle Road, Warwick, looked on in horror as a motorcyclist traveling west near the junction with Ord Road collided head-on with a car heading east. Lone rider Richard Thomas, age 59, of Paget, was killed immediately in the collision, but was officially pronounced dead at the King Edward Memorial Hospital at 8 p.m. The elderly woman driving the car was badly shaken by the accident and received treatment at the hospital before being released. The main artery was closed for 3 hours while police from the Roads Policing Unit investigated the scene, and witnesses are asked to contact Officer Constable Walter Jackson on 247-1230. The death of Richard Thomas marks the second road fatality for 2015. The Civil Justice Advocacy Group petitioned Premier Michael Dunkley to investigate what they termed the inability and/or misbehavior of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Rory Field. In doing so, they are using a section of the Bermuda Constitution that gives the Premier the authority to request such an investigation from the Governor, who they say is constitutionally obligated to appoint a tribunal. Vsb News' Brian Darby explains what it's all about.
In September 2013, the Civil Justice Advocacy Group initiated a criminal complaint that they had been unlawfully denied copies of the official record of their court proceedings. The Bermuda Police Service launched an investigation in January 2014, but in September it was abruptly terminated after DPP Rory Field had expressed the view that the digital record of proceedings did not constitute the official record of the court, and therefore was not legally required. He claimed that the judge's notes constituted the official record, but according to the petitioners, provided no written proof that this was the case. Now the group has uncovered the fact that an Evidence Amendment Act was piloted through the House of Assembly in 2001 by the then Attorney General Dame Lois Brown Evans, which guaranteed interested parties unfettered access to digital official records of court proceedings. Among the MPs present were the current Premier Michael Dunkley and Attorney General Trevor Moniz. A state-of-the-art digital court recording system was subsequently installed and has been in use for more than 10 years without hindrance. It is therefore unconscionable and reprehensible, says the civil justice advocacy group, that the public is being denied what was granted them in law, and it's an absurdity that Bermudians are being told by the highest legal public official that they have no legal right to a true and unbiased record of their proceedings in the face of legislation passed by their duly elected representatives and confirmed by the sustained usage by the judiciary. Brian Darby reporting for Vsb News.
The Family Center has worked with over 10,000 clients from 3,000 local families since it was founded 25 years ago by Martha Dismond. And today she went before the Hamilton Rotarians to explain what her team has achieved and what her vision is going forward.
Imagine, and I'm just going to say this, imagine what it would be like if government would put in practice everything they've learned from all the lessons they've had over the years. They would not need any new information. Economically, socially, just put the lessons in practice. When I was on the SAGE Commission, one of the things I will say is that when we went inside and looked at government, they had tons and tons and tons of reports that had been written. Some they had put into practice, most they had not. The information is here. The issues are here. The answers are here. What keeps us from putting into practice what we already know? In short, honesty, transparency, and hard work are not electives. They are a standard for survival. Everyone must be part of the solution, and everyone must have the clear opportunity to benefit from the rewards. We can demonstrate that by making people the priority over projects and policies. I don't think I can emphasize enough how important, from a social service perspective, it is to take this extraordinary gift of the America's Cup and focus on the Bermuda people in every single way that we can, and then it will be a gift. Otherwise, I truly believe it will just be an event. Let's demand better results and pair that with better opportunities. Cultures are constantly evolving, and we will move our culture in a direction that reflects our priorities. What are our priorities? Change starts with us. And as we, through our services, prepare families and children to participate in a society, in a more healthy society, or as we, through our services, prepare families and children to participate in society in a more healthy and productive manner, we believe that we must have a society worthy of their efforts.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
It's a first. The Bermuda Tourism Authority have embarked on a local industry summit designed to get all local tourism industry professionals together for a robust agenda on industry topics. The event is scheduled for next Wednesday, January the 21st at the Fairmont Southampton Resort. A BTA spokesman said the overall objective was to arm Bermuda's industry stakeholders with the best possible information on current statistics, emerging markets, and the Bermuda tourism outlook for this year. Several international leaders in their respective fields will attend the summit to offer their views. A new Seniors Advisory Council is to be named shortly by Minister of Health Jeannie Atherton and given the task of producing a national aging plan. This, she says, will be a community-wide effort to create an active aging policy resource for her ministry, but it will not remove from the families of our seniors their elder care responsibilities.
What we found often is that some of the things that are happening in the homes are, and the abuse, when it's coming to be abuse, is what I call persons not understanding or not appreciating that your family member is important to you. You should be working together as a family to try and get the best care for that individual. If you reach out to NOSPAC in terms of if you need resources, if you need some referrals, they can help. But more often, it's different family members falling out with each other in terms of what they believe is the appropriate care. And in some cases, maybe we have to come up with some other group to try and help them mediate the services. But they should be trying to put their family members first.
You'd rather not have officials having to spend their time running people's homes and lives.
Right, because I do think, you know, that person's important to you. That's a beloved individual. And therefore, starting early, people should start to realize when the condition of the person changes. Sometimes it's physical deterioration, sometimes it's mental deterioration. Then they should start to look at the opportunities out there for care. And I think that's the point I always try to stress. Sometimes if they can stay at home with resources, that's the ideal. If they can't stay at home with resources and they have to go to a rest home or a nursing home, they need to understand the difference. Many people do not understand that a rest home is really for ambulatory care for persons that can get around. A nursing home is something, a rest home where you have skilled nursing care that's required.
Of those 25 unscheduled visits, did any of them come up with some information and facts that were disturbing and will cause some kind of action? Well,
there were some persons that had deficiencies, and when you have deficiencies, it's up to the inspectors as well as the managers to look at how the deficiencies can be, if you will, give them some time frame and then make sure that the deficiencies are rectified.
Orbitz Worldwide, the leading online travel company, has partnered with the Bermuda Tourism Authority to launch Orbitz Originals, Bermuda Proper Fun, an online video series co-hosted by travel experts Richard Bangs and Lisa Allen Niver, with research showing that 2 out of every 3 North American consumers watches online travel videos when thinking of taking a trip. The Bermuda series is supported by hotel discounts of up to 20% and substantial flight savings. And as you will now see, it's 2 minutes of the best of Bermuda in an easy viewing experience.
Bermuda. It seems a place more conducive to myth than a real land. Here is the birthplace and playground of proper fun. From the perfectly splendid golf courses to high tea, from finely crafted jewelry to the leading edge of fashion, from the spas to the water sports, from the forts to the shorts. Feeling a bit gritty after the affairs of the day? Soak in a spa or take to the seas. For proper cheer, jump the cliffs to the agreeable waters. Or stroll the roseate beaches, the very pink of perfection. Or collapse into the soft bed of luxury. Bermuda. It calls like a nearly forgotten song of childhood. Come and rediscover our youthful enchantments. Come and dance and sing and play the proper way.
Your need for speed could be addressed simply by becoming a member of the Bermuda Motorcycle Racing Club. Earl Bearsden has the details on this and much more in the latest from the sports desk.
With so many road accidents happening here recently, we've approached the Bermuda Motorcycle Racing Club and their vice president, Javon Simons, to talk about their club and what they can offer to those members of the public who feel they have the need for speed. Javon, the Bermuda Motorcycle Racing Club has a structure in place currently. Tell us a bit about what your club can offer those people that feel that need for speed in a controlled environment.
Well, right now at the moment, what we guys do have is actually a clinic or a course that we guys are actually going to be offering, hopefully going to be launching it February 7th. So actually anyone can come down, regardless of your riding experience. If you have any safety equipment or not, we have everything that is available and we can offer them that experience. The basis of the course is to actually increase your knowledge of the road, as well as your bike, because that's what I have, and as well as our committee members have seen is the main problem, is that a lot of road accidents and everything is just a lack of knowledge of the road and bikes itself.
Now, obviously your club can offer this structure environment, but what you see the mentality of the road, on the public road, and what you see can possibly be a deterrent by learning this skill offered by your club. Tell us the difference between the mindset of what you see in the road and what you see on the track.
The mindset that I do see is plain, basic, and simple. It's just like you touching a hot stove, right? You're not gonna touch it because it's hot, all right? With our racers, they know that, hey, I have all the safety equipment on. I'm not gonna go out on the road and do the exact same thing. I've been hurt. I know what it looks like to be hurt and whatnot. So I'm not gonna take that same racing mentality and put it on the road. And that's time and time again. So,
But it does take care of that need for speed.
yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Last night at the BAA field, it was all to play for the leadership of the Bermuda Football Association Premier Division, with Hamilton Parish taking on the Devonshire Cougars. Both teams were guilty of giving the ball away over and over. However, in the 20th minute, the game's lone goal came when a foul was committed inside the Devonshire Cougars box, and Angelo Cannonier stepped up and blasted the ball down the middle, with Devonshire Cougars goalkeeper Kiyoshi Trott diving to his right as it put Hamilton Parish in front. Neither team would be able to beat the opposing goalkeeper for the remainder of the match, as Hamilton Parish defeated the Devonshire Cougars 1-0. With this win, Hamilton Parish went to the top of the Premier Division standings all alone. The North Village Community Club announced the recent appointment of Calvin Blankendow as their new Youth Technical Director. The Southampton Rangers Sports Club has announced their first Southampton Rangers Future Leaders Scholarship recipients. This year's recipients are Willie Clemens, who is studying sports management at Thomas College, and Dante Bregman, who is studying exercise science at East Tennessee State University. Each recipient was awarded $750, presented by club president Jerry Saltis. Sophomore Dage Miners took home a first place and a fourth place finish in two different events, as the Franklin Pierce University men's track and field team finished 6th out of 10 teams during the 46th annual Dartmouth Relays at the Leveron Field House at the Dartmouth College. Miners recorded a time of 1:58.31, taking the top spot in the men's 800 meters, collecting 10 points for Franklin Pierce. Miners then grabbed 4 points for Franklin Pierce, with a fourth place finish overall in the men's 400 meters, coming in as the second best time of all Northeast 10 schools. Rebecca Heiliger and her University of Southern California women's swimming and diving teammates defeated Wisconsin under the lights in the Utah Aquatic Center. The USC women's squad improved to 4-1 with its 142-115 win. Heiliger finished 6th in the women's 50-yard freestyle, touching the wall at a time of 24:27, and with a time of 54:39, Heiliger finished 7th, competing in the women's 100-yard freestyle. Jason Shrub and his number 14th nationally ranked Bates men's squash teammates defeated longtime rival and 12th ranked Navy 5-4 at the Mount Holyoke College. Senior Shrub needed 5 games to put away Navy's John Husch in the number 7 spot. Shrub lost the first game 12-10, but fought back to win the second game 11-6. Shrub would take a 2-1 lead, winning the third game 11-7, before falling 11-7 in the fourth game, needing a 5th and final match to decide the winner, which Shrub would win 11-9. In Friesen-Rookmire Continental Bowling League action at the Work Lanes last night, it saw the Nifty Rulers defeat the Bermuda Pest Control 24.5 to 5.5. New Hope defeated the Cubs 21-9, while the Pinjammers defeated the Oddballs 18-12. The Invaders got by Quickie Licky Laundry 19-11, and the Spice Nicks defeated the Pinsplitters 23-7. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Wednesday, January the 14th, it will be cloudy with occasional showers and chance of thunder overnight. Winds will be south-southwesterly and moderate, increasing southwesterly, moderate to strong by noon with gusts to gale force in and around showers. We are expecting a high of 73 and a low of 67. This weather report is the courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Tuesday, January the 13th. I'm Charles Webb.